or something like that, please subscribe to the channel before anything. You guys have seen that I've been, as I said, 2025 I am consistent, so I did make a promise. I'm holding on to that, and yes, I'm bringing you the content. So I saw a comment in one of my video. It's actually one of my latest video when I say Fuji should Fuji go full frame, and I have a comment here that I'm going to put up. So this gentleman say, Asafoaji, I hope it's a gentleman. He said, what Fuji needs now is an updated or improved autofocus near Sony level. Make a stack 50 megapixel MF camera. I'm sure he made medium format camera and puts the XH2 into a cinema body. This will attract many photographers from other brands to the side, but it seems they are blind and I do not know how they think. So I just want to take that into like face value and try to maybe comment on that, because obviously I'm a Fuji lover, a Fuji shooter most of the time, but sometimes I have to shoot other brands because Fuji autofocus is just not on par. I'm using the Fuji X-T2 now as my webcam, and for the most part it does the job, as you can see. So it's on autofocus, and I'm actually using a but as you can see now, yeah, now I'm back in focus, but the autofocus is not very reassuring like other brands. I don't know if it's due to the algorithm, and it just sometimes it just leaves you hanging and leaves you wanting a little bit more. So Fuji definitely has an autofocus problem, and especially with the XH series, they have been trying to fix that autofocus for I do not know how long. They are on, I think, firmware version 10 point something, and just all of that is to try to fix the autofocus issue. Fuji definitely has an autofocus issue, and everybody that shoots Fuji kind of know that. So the XT2 that I have, for example, has like partial contrast and phase detect autofocus. Don't understand that, but I think they do have the technology, because when the XH2 and the XH2S came out, the autofocus was good. I think everybody that tested that camera did say that the autofocus is good, and it got worse with the firmware update. And I don't understand for what reason. I think you have maybe like a 90% hit rate with that, whereas when you go to brand like Sony is the king of autofocus at this moment. I think even Canon may have lagged behind, and we all knew that we all know, actually, not even new, but we all know that Canon has really always good autofocus as well. And especially on the latest camera that they've released, the autofocus has just been very much very much on par. Not better than Sony. I think Sony is just a king of autofocus at this moment, but they've had really good autofocus. However, Fuji really lags behind exponentially. I think that is one point of contention where the brand is really suffering a lot, and I think it's deterring a lot of people from going Fuji fully for the work. I was shooting an event with my XT2. Unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't use autofocus lens. I was using the manual lens because that was the widest lens I had at that time before I got the 24-70. So it was not a problem at that time, because the panel, the people I was shooting were just sitting and the camera was on stick, so I didn't have an issue there. But I don't trust this camera a lot if I'm shooting an event and I have to put it on autofocus and I have to follow people. This camera came out pretty much the same time as my Canon 800D came out, and the 800D autofocus is really good. I don't have any problem. It doesn't have eye detect autofocus, but for the work that it produces, I would trust that camera a little bit more than I would trust my XT2. And generally, when I go on gig and I just need some quick highlight videos and reels, I'd rather use that Canon 800D over the Fuji X-T2. Whereas the Fuji X-T2 has like really better video capability overall than the Canon 800D. So the autofocus is definitely a point of contention. And so we go to the stack 50 megapixel medium format sensor. that new development, that definitely would be able to give Fuji the edge over not full frame, so medium format sensor. So that will definitely give Fuji, I think it will give them that access to the market. And so I think the GFX 100 RF is just a test. To be honest, it's just one of those A/B comparison type of thing, just to see what really works and what the market would appreciate at this moment. So that's what I think so far. But a 50 megapixel medium format stack sensor, that actually could very, very much work very, very well, because that would just increase the speed. We know stack sensors are always faster in terms of readout speed and all of those stuff. That would be a very good move for Fuji. And this is something that actually nobody brought up before. So that's a very, very good point to my friend Asa Faoje. So thank you for that comment. That's actually very smart a comment, because I think if Fuji develops a 50 megapixel medium format stack sensor, we don't need the 100 megapixel one. The medium format, I think they do have 50 megapixel medium format already. So if they can make them stacked, that actually would be amazing. And I think that will disrupt the market hugely and bigly. So that is something to look out for. And yeah, if that camera comes out, it's gonna probably be a little bit more expensive. Maybe could be in the same price range as the GFX 100R. But if they can maybe reuse the body that they already have, that could definitely be affordable and a good level of for buyers that are already there. And you could upgrade to that camera just by selling your gears and go into like a Fuji system. So that has always been like the biggest problem. So he also said they need to put the XH2 as into a cinema body. That one is a little bit tricky because they have announced the Eterna cinema camera. We are still waiting for it. There is literally just the patent for it, and I think there is a few photos if you check maybe on Cinedy. But XH2S in a cinema body does make a lot of sense. That could be also something that very much to look into. But unfortunately, I don't know. I don't see a lot of Fuji users shoot a lot of videos. They shoot videos here and there, but they don't shoot a lot of videos. It's really, really rare to find somebody who's completely into Fuji just for videos and photo on, just for video, for example. Let's say generally Fuji users shoot a lot of videos as well, so it's a little bit of a tricky one, but it makes sense because that XH2S is an amazing camera for videos. Yeah. What do you guys think? Please leave your comments below, and then yeah, we'll talk about this camera movement. Camera Fuji, I think Fuji is gonna be better in 2025, looking much better than the year before. They've already kind of been picking up since like the XT4 up to now. I think Fuji is really at a good place. They're always out of stock in terms of like the X100 VI. So let's see. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.